So time to continue here. Now we do only have about 8 minutes left together, so it is time to think about hit the heads, which is boat speak for using the restrooms if you were going to do that before disembarking. Again, if you're going to use the restrooms, please try and do that before we get back to the dock in about 8 minutes. Now, on the right side of the boat and a smidge behind us is the Ferris wheel on Navy Pier. Now the Ferris wheel on Navy Pier is only 8 years old. We used to have another one. That one's 8 years old. And where do you suppose the first Ferris wheel in the world was built? Chicago. The first Ferris wheel in the world was built here in Chicago, designed by Mr. Ferris, George Washington Gale Ferris. He was a bridge engineer from Pittsburgh, and he built the world's first Ferris wheel to be the centerpiece attraction of the World Columbian Exposition, the World's Fair of 1893. Now that first Ferris wheel was actually 20 meters or 64 feet taller than the one we have on Navy Pier today. After our fair, we shipped it to St. Louis for the World's Fair of 1904. After their fair, they sold it for scrap. You could not take the world's first Ferris wheel for a ride anymore. Now on the right side of the boat, this dark steel and curvy glass, the curvy dark steel and glass tower on the right, curvy dark steel tower on the right is the Lake Point Tower. Lake Point Tower is from 1968 by Shipwright and Heinrich Architects. It is curvilinear international style, and it's a little lonely. It's the only privately owned building on the east side of Lakeshore Drive. That's because ever since our city's founding, we've had policies to guarantee that our entire lakefront would be public forever, parks, beaches, etc. Technically, Lake Point Tower is not an exception to that policy because technically there's still public land that wraps around the space, but it was controversial and there's no room to build neighbors next to it. Now, the bridge ahead of us, folks, this bridge that we're about to go under was the longest, widest, and heaviest bascule Trunnion-style drawbridge in the world when it opened in 1932. This bridge is from 1932. It's officially called the Franklin Delano Roosevelt Memorial Bridge. One of the reasons it earned that name is that it was seen as such a big, successful piece of public art when during the Great Depression when it opened. That President FDR himself came to Chicago to give a speech on the bridge during its ribbon-cutting ceremony in 1932. Now, folks, ahead of us to the right, is that Ferris glass they're from 2004 by James December. And what I want you to notice is the bottom, right here, my level on the right. The first 4 floors of Riverview is actually a row of individual townhouses. Each with a built 3-level and 15-4-story tall. They're funded a linear and 20-level terrace. You know, it does sound nice because it's just a whole other townhouse of Riverview. That being said, I'm not sure what they sell for. I do know it's not for wood there. In addition, Riverview is not the only building with green glass on the river. Architects like to use green windows to match the river's green color. Now, the green color you can see in the front side of the river is natural, created by green algae growing on the clay riverbed. But it's true that every year, once a year, the river becomes like that, so the green, when on the Saturday before St. Patrick's Day, the plumbers in this town also dye the river and the green. The dye the plumbers use is certified biodegradable because using other vegetable material, and here's how they do it. They sail it through those up and down the river, going through the company like rubber and satisfiers. Now the dye is actually as a service for the river. The dye is the whole main plant right green for a couple of days, and it takes over a week for it to become normal. The dye is actually a plumbing tool that's normally used in smaller amounts without water or color and usually now, let's look on the left. Because on the left side of the boat, our right of the left in the background are the light bulbs. Now, the baby balconies up to the left are on top left. It's about 2,000 dollars. Some two of those balconies are down to like that is the I'll go up the line. We're going by a woman, and how that side of the now, after the next bridge will go forward and up to the right,